Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a really exciting knife unboxing to share with you guys. So, my buddy Derek, aka Sever7, make sure you guys subscribe to him on YouTube, sent me a box of knives and models and things that I have never experienced. And I want to go through these just a little bit at a time. I have not fully checked this out yet, but there was a note inside that made me go, what? No way. So I go to look it up, and this is just one of those knives that is really, truly spectacular for the money. It's not quite as cheap as his note had listed, and that's probably because there was a price change. But even with the subtle increase, the knife is still unbelievably competitive at the tier that it's in. So thank you so much to Derek for exposing me to models and brands that I never otherwise would have experienced. This is really cool. Now I can share it with everybody. I will link this down in the description. This is a limited run, so I have a feeling that people are going to maybe rush to pick this up, but I'll link it down there so you guys can check it out. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure that the notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. Evolution EDC. I have never heard of them before. Never. This is a Bestech OEM though, so that's cool. We know that the quality is going to be there, and we also know that they're going to hit their heat treatment numbers, which is not, it has not always been the case with Bestech, but here lately with a lot of the, a lot of the better, like the more performance-oriented steels, they have increased their HRC numbers, so that's pretty cool. Evolution EDC. Now, the note that this came with says, this is the Tempo Bestech OEM in M390. At some point, this was $155. It's not that anymore. The price is $185, but judging by the pictures, I was still like, holy cow. So I want to actually handle the knife. All right, so here we go. The Tempo. Looks like maybe hand rub satin finish there, at least on the flat. A pretty standard, frame lock construction, and that's fine. We have a lot of these. What we don't have is a lot of these types of knives built this way for under $200. A lot of times they're either really, really small, or there's another corner cut like HRC, or, the fit and finish is just really questionable, right? That's typically what we see. Not a ton of stuff. Oh my gosh, that's a way nicer blade than I thought it was going to be. So this looks like what Artisan Cutlery wants their sand polish to be. Really nice choked up spot there for your index finger. Nice complementary thumb jimping that's actually functional. Also, those are pretty good thumb studs. It's just a subtle steps, not domed at the top like I like it, but it's fine. Honestly, really, really good. Plenty of access to the lock bar. What do we have here? Number 47. I think this was a limited run of 200. It is a bit abrupt here, but not sharp. It's just kind of, this isn't a contoured frame. But honestly, at this size, I didn't even need to do that. This is a completely drop shut knife. Actually pretty spectacular in the action department too. Thumb flick, great. Let's try the reverse flick with the thumb stud. Also really great. I'm a big fan of that blade. Looks really, really nice. A step up from our typical satin finish, like either, belt or machine satin. Let's go ahead and measure it, because I bet you this is over 8 inches. Overall length is coming in at 8 1/4. Blade length is 3 1/2. Cutting edge is just about 3 with that big, roomy forward choil. For what? Listen, at $155, this is ridiculous. But I just checked their site before I started this upload, and I saw that it was now $185. Even at $185, we don't, maybe Kaiser's got some stuff that's titanium and M390 that's close to the same size that might be fairly competitive, but we already know Kaiser to be an absolutely ridiculously competitive company. Now, there are definitely other knives out there that utilize M390 that are less, but it's the total combination of materials here, and at this size and with the blade finish is pretty cool. I find $185 to still be ridiculously competitive, when typically what we see with a Chinese OEM that can do a good job, right? There's plenty of Chinese OEMs, slapping some M390 on a titanium frame with poor tolerances and charging $120 for it, right? That's not really that impressive. The materials alone are not, it's the full package, the full execution, right? And on top of that, you have to have a design that actually functions well for a knife and is easy and, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's sort of intuitive to use, right? Second nature. Everything should sort of function. The cake mix for a good knife is a well-known recipe. It's not a mystery, right? Not like it was in life. It seemed like the 2010s had a lot of issues with just like making simple things work, right? And only a few special companies seem to be able to figure this out, especially when we're talking about, frame locks and flippers and detents and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, whole package needs to come together. At $185, I find this to be insanely competitive because typically what we see, that's what I started to say, Chinese OEMs who are capable of it tend to release products like this for $200 plus, which I still think is kind of like fine, right? We Knives, for example, making exactly this would charge a bare minimum of $250 for it. And, a lot of times people just kind of choke that down. Not just from We Knives, but from a lot of different companies. I'm actually really impressed. I can see why you wanted to send this one to me. Evolution EDC. This is not necessarily a brand new knife. I was looking there at the centering. It's possible that it just needs a quick pivot adjustment. I like the pivot colors on there too. But I'm assuming that these are his knives and that he has carried and used them, or at the very least probably flipped them a few times. But let's see if we can get that pivot tightened down and get that blade absolutely centered. So the adjustment head is on this side, and it is, whoops, is that a, oh yeah, it is a T8. I just didn't have it pushed all the way in there. So adjust just a little bit. How are we now? I think I got it just perfect. I'd say that's perfect. Would you guys say that's perfect? I'd say that's perfect. We still have that nice buttery, oh yeah. Oh boy, really nice. Really nice action there. This is cool. I like this. I have seen a million frame locks that are similar or subtle variations of this. I'm not impressed by the fact that it's a shiny frame lock. I'm impressed that they delivered this package at this price, especially considering Bestech really likes to hack at people when they do OEM work. And by hack at people, I mean really take a big chunk for themselves. Usually when you work with a company like Bestech, the amount that they charge as the OEM fee makes it really hard to price your products competitively. That rhymed. It was very flowy, wasn't it? It's almost like we could turn that into a song. But you know what I mean? That's typically what I see. So pretty cool. It kind of makes me want to reference this knife in the future when we talk about, Chinese knives and good OEM work and stuff like that. This is kind of a knife that I think I might be able to continuously reference, especially if they are able to continuously keep the price where it is moving forward. I don't see any way that they could have maintained this price. That's ridiculous. Maybe that was just sort of an entry, kind of the first 20 or so, and then we bumped the price for the rest. Or maybe this was a pre-order price, right? An early bird special, maybe something like that. But $185, still incredibly impressive. That's really neat. Do we have, yeah, we have milling for weight reduction. So what does it weigh? Actually, let's do the balance. Balance is right behind the pivot. Really nice. And then your weight on this guy is, it's actually heavier than I thought it was going to be. 5 ounces, okay. Not bad for a full-size, full titanium knife. Really, really nice choke up on that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Thanks again to Sever7, Derek, for sending this in. I will do a review on this knife, especially considering it's still available, at least at the time of this recording. And you can expect that here in a couple of weeks. That's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on the Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.